We're live on Facebook.
We're live on Facebook.
Yeah, we're live on the old Book of Cunts.
And good evening and welcome to episode 81 of Endless Banter. This show is called Paul is Back, but currently Paul is not with us, but we'll wait for everybody to get in to chat, to speak to us. And then we'll go from there. Good evening to everybody joining us. Good evening, Aaron. Good evening, Neil. Pixie, hello. Adam, good evening. We are live. Pixie in the other room. So, I am currently with the man, the myth, the legend. I always call him Mr. Nicky Fraser. Good evening, sir.
Morning.
As I said, guys, Paul will be with us very shortly. It's just me and Nicky at the moment. And the reason that is, for everybody that's coming in, Paul has literally popped out of the chat. He'll be back with us ASAP. But Paul has mentioned in the past about his sister. His sister has started a Facebook group called My Journey, Let the Battle Commence. Kerry, Paul's sister, is currently being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and she's having chemotherapy. And before her chemotherapy, she's been a very, 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 very brave woman, and she's shaving all her hair off before her chemotherapy. So she's currently live shaving her hair off before she has her chemotherapy treatment. I can't put it into words. I would never understand. I don't understand what Paul, Kerry, and all their family are going through. I could never understand it. So I just pass on my love. And Kerry is a brave woman, and I hope everyone in the Harrison family will be supporting her. So yeah, Paul will be with us soon, but that's the reason Paul's not with us at the moment. So all my love, my blessings, my heart, Nicky the same, go to the Harrison family. So Paul will be with us soon, but that's the reason he's currently not with us. But you can go over and follow her page, which is My Journey, Let the Battle Commence. And she'll be over there doing sort of blogs and live feeds and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool of her to do that, even in this shitty time. So God bless her, and I hope she gets better, and I hope the treatment works. And I hope everybody in the Harrison family have her back. So yeah, that's why Paul's not here. So let's get into the show before I sit here and cry. So good evening to everybody. Nicky, how's your week been? What are you vaping? What you have for tea? And how shitty is the weather in Scotland this week?
About 80 mile an hour winds. We've not
had a bad winter, have we? We've not had a bad winter though, have we? Really?
The winter's been that good. Half the fucking ski slopes up here, I haven't even bothered opening.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I know that Mark Ski, he runs it's a all year round, isn't it? Ski slope in Scotland that he runs. You know, it's not got snow on it. It's literally what
there's a few of them that are all year round.
Yeah, he's got like one of the. He runs one of them, and I was like, "Is it cold then?" As long as their chair is literally not like this, so they can get up to the top of the mountain, they're not really fussed.
Oh.
But none of them have opened. You said none of them are really opened.
There's one that's open, but they have a machine that goes up and puts fake snow down, and that's struggling to keep up.
Jesus.
Week's been okay. I've had bacon and eggs for tea.
Oh, you've had some tea, have you?
Yeah. And some lunch.
You've had some tea and lunch. That's a first, mate. That is a first.
I'm
on. What did you have for
lunch? Cajun chicken salad with coleslaw and cheese and mayo.
Oh, nice. That sounds lush, that. Did you make it yourself as well?
No, I went to the shop and bought it.
Oh. I thought, we were like, yes, lads, cooking it and all. Oh, no, that's a no then.
I didn't make it because I was too lazy.
And what are you vaping, do you say?
I'm on the Boost with some blackjack.
How long have you been on the Boost now for? Like, is it 2 weeks?
No, I've had the Boost, just shy of 2.5 months, 3 months.
Oh, nice. And you obviously rate it because you've used it.
I rate the Boost and the 2 new Lost Weight pods. They're quite decent as well. With
What about the longevity of the actual coil in the pods? Are you seeing them lasting a bit longer than normal?
what are we on? The average on the Boost, I'm getting about 5,000 puffs on it.
Which depends on how hard you hit it, really, isn't it?
About 2 weeks minimum on a coil on the Boost.
Fucking hell, that's good.
That's if you stay with the same juice, and then on the Lost Weight ones, I'm getting 6 weeks on a coil with the same juice.
That's really good.
And then I'm on my Dirtier and Red Slush.
Sweet.
And I'm
So I want to
drinking.
say, on the brew, is it glass? Is it glass?
Yeah.
Good lad. It is good lad. Talk of the devil. They're coming to the chat. Good evening, Maxky. So I want to say good evening to Mr. Pickering, Ashley Yates, Mr. Neil Miller, Mr. Pugsley, Pixie in the other room, Sean, good evening, sir. Also known as Bessie. Bessie is his wife, but everybody knows him on Facebook as Bessie Goldsmith. That is his wife. But Sean, good evening, Sean. Good evening, Gary. Good evening, Mr. Greenwood. So, Nikki, let's go over a bit of news this week. So, the news this week that we've got is New Jersey have approved the flavour ban in the States. They are the first state to approve the flavour ban. Are we in agreement that it's going to be statewide after this? Do we think it's going to affect different states? Because obviously there's different rulings in different states, and they have different sort of government officers that put in different rules, and different state can run a different rule. And do we feel like it's gonna move from to another state now?
I can see it branching out a bit more once they've find out how it's exactly working in New Jersey to different states and different spellings. But all that's really going to do is either A, people are just going to buy fucking concentrates while they can get them to add it to juice, or B, it's just going to make bathtub juice fucking a thing again, which is kind of the opposite way that they're wanting it to go.
Yeah, we sort of put this into discussion last week. We didn't really jump into it much, but we basically said about obviously it's gonna for me personally, all that's gonna do is just make more of a black market. That's literally all banning it is going to do is give more of a black market. But we also ran the story of the 8 online retailers that were sending into Massachusetts that actually were getting sued for sending in flavored liquid nicotine into Massachusetts. So
the thing is, though, right, they've probably only picked up on that because they've either done a sting operation where they've targeted certain business, try and get stuff sent to where it's not supposed to be, or someone's grassed them up.
I feel like it's got to be a sort of sting kind of thing. It's got to be sort of a planned operation because they're not checking every single parcel. I'm sorry, but they're not. As I stated before, drugs, guns, all sorts of stuff can be transported into different countries. So they're not going for every single parcel. I honestly believe it's a form of sting operation, as you say, to try and find out who's willing to sort of send into it. But yet again, I know it's statewide, and rather than, it's just at the minute it's New Jersey and Massachusetts. Obviously, people places like New York and stuff like that, they have different news outlets. So even the news is not like a main news. Even in the UK, for fuck's sake, I'm not getting the same news on the BBC that you're getting in Scotland. Do you know what I mean?
No.
So if it's not
shit about Nicola Sturgeon being a fucking bellend.
So if they're not getting that kind of news, and to be honest, as a retailer, you should really know where you cannot send stuff. But if they didn't know that and they've sent it into there, it's kind of a bit of a loose thing. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of how do they I get that they're not meant to be sending it into there, but how does that information get to that place to say you're not meant to send it to there? Because if we get an order from somewhere, it's getting shipped.
But on the other hand, look how many people, how many vape groups have a lot of ties in America. Look how much it's kicked off on all these vape groups, like sharing all this shit around. It doesn't take a fucking rocket science to say, oh, actually, you can't ship there. Why would you risk your business that you put good money into and everything else to then send a product somewhere that you know it's not supposed to go? They can't blame it on ignorance. They've done it on a fucking lucky draw. They was hoping that it wasn't something, and now they've been caught out for it.
Or they might not have felt like they were going to, maybe not even get caught, but they might have just been like, we'll try it this one, see if it gets through.
We'll get a slap on the wrist for it. But if it comes down hard, which they seem to be coming down really fucking hard in the States on it, why would you risk your business, risk your livelihood, and risk fucking prison time more than likely?
Yeah, I feel like there is a risk to doing that. And no by means am I saying for anybody to do that. I feel like there's ways and means of doing it. And I feel like there's still going to be people out there in that state still selling flavoured juice. Whether it's not going to be in a shop front, but people are going to have access to it.
There'll be someone that's got it in the fucking boot of the car selling it out of fucking car park.
Yeah.
I've been told of people I know in the States that there is WhatsApp groups that shop owners have created to sell juice that they've got that's got flavour in it.
With their sort of like their customer database, yeah.
It's regular customers that they feel that they have on these WhatsApp groups. But
do you think that pushes it more to a kind of black market thing, though, Nicky? Do you think it's once they run out and they don't get access to whatever they can, or what is the ways that they're gonna get it? Do you know what I mean? Is it gonna send more people back to tobacco? Is it gonna make people go to the black market, start mixing themselves, getting stuff in? Because let's be realistic, it wasn't like us, like we said about the TBD, when people were stocking up on nicotine, slamming it in the freezer and keeping bottles of nicotine. You know, they've had it literally within a few weeks and said, right, this is it. So they've not really had time to stock up and whatnot.
No, they've not had time to stock up. But on the other hand, as well, we all know as vapors, we've all got fucking umpteen bottles of juice in the house. There's not a vapor in the fucking world that's probably not got 6 or 7 fucking 100ml bottles or something laying around their house.
Yeah.
So I've noticed a lot of concentrates getting shipped to America as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you main flavor houses, carry on.
Have you banned concentrates because it's not a flavored e-liquid? It's not an e-liquid. It's a concentrate.
Yeah, your big flavor houses like Capella and stuff like that, they are based in the States anyway. That's
exactly.
where, and they predominantly just don't do e-liquid. They're not doing it for manufacturing of e-liquid. They're doing it for food products as well.
Exactly. So it's like, what's it going to
do you
put
not think
on
it's going to affect not just the vapor, but do you think it's also going to affect people like the flavor houses? Like, because obviously in America it's fucking huge. And the matter of fact is that there's going to be a lot of manufacturers in them states. So there's going to be manufacturers in New Jersey. There's going to be manufacturers in Massachusetts. There's going to be people in there that produce e-liquid. Are we going to sort of see a move to a different state? Are we going to see a move the country, move to Europe? Are we going to see an influx of manufacturers already sort of moving around the states or moving abroad and producing from abroad?
There already is moving around the states. Leon's moved. A few other companies have moved, so they're already moving around the states.
Yeah.
To be honest, with the amount of money that they've all got in it, they're fucking probably best off and cheaper off buying their own fucking island and fucking producing it all on one island. All the big companies.
Just a little shell off somewhere.
Fuck you, Trump. I'm not paying you tax, you fucking bitch.
But I would imagine that there is obviously also watching of this going on. So it's not necessarily just of the states being like, oh, it's going on in America. They then get the draft of that. Sorry, they get the wind of that. These people are then going, right, fuck that state, we're moving to another state. So then does that mean that state's going to be attacked, chopped, and then they move again, and then they move again, and they move again, and they move again. And then everybody moves around in the state, so they're able to manufacture in a certain state, and then all of a sudden all the states are then banned.
If it ends up like that, it ends up like that. There's not much we can do, to be fair. We can try and get the word out there about the health benefits of vaping compared to smoking. But while fucking big tobacco is sliding fucking everyone in the governments and in the fucking, like, whatever they have over there, the fucking governors and all that fucking big backhanders, obviously big tobacco is going to win no matter fucking what.
No matter how we feel about it, yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you.
Because they're taking big fucking payoffs. They're getting a fucking nice wedge out of it. Next man's getting nice wedge off it.
Yeah.
So, and then big tobacco's winning. So it means the fucking all these states can then pay off their fucking debts that they've got.
And everyone has to skip back to fucking tobacco.
Everyone skips back to tobacco, but Americans happy. The states are happy because they're paying off their debts.
Yeah.
If they made the tax level the same on a bottle of e-liquid than it was on a packet of fags, then I think 95% of people that are vaping would still carry on vaping.
Yeah.
So why not do that? Why not just say, instead of actually no, it's fucking up everyone. Everyone's dying from it. Say, well, a pack of fags is what, $6? A bottle of e-liquid is $2. We'll just make them fucking. We'll bang the tax up on the e-liquid, so we're making as much tax off that as we are on a pack of fags.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, fucking, you've got Philip Morris. He's fucking into vaping quite heavily. If you look at the companies he's got in his pocket already, and then I reckon in the next year, maybe two, when all the other companies come out and said, actually, I sold my company 4 years ago, 3 years ago. When all these companies come out, it's going to be a big shock to fucking everyone, because there's companies out there that you wouldn't even think had been bought by a big tobacco company, but they are.
True.
So everyone's slagging off big tobacco, saying, oh, they're the ones destroying the industry. But big tobacco's already bought into the industry anyway. It's just people aren't allowed to say.
Yeah, there's definitely people like that. Yeah.
We know there's people like that. You know for a fact there's people like that, Tom. People are not stupid, and then
you've got go on, Nicky.
Then you've got the likes of the little man who's trying to break into the industry, who can't because it's expensive to put your own clean room in if you want a decent level one. And then you've got to have your liquids tested.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I've noticed long fills and short fills popping up in the UK rather than it just being short fills.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair,
not many people, unless you're producing sort of Nick salts or a standard 50/50, not many people are sort of running through TPD testing. They're doing MSDS documents and getting their juice tested that way, but they're not doing the full TPD thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. To be fair, I understand the whole logic behind the long fills, because that way you can make it 50/50, you can make it 60/40, 80/20, 70/30. You can tailor it to you, which is a good idea in the long run.
Yeah.
But
yeah, definitely.
What they all need to do is just say, fuck it, right? If the government went right, every liquid needs TPD testing, whether it's got nicotine in or whether it's not, you'd find a lot of them fucking drop off the shelf instantly.
Yeah, because people won't invest the cash into it. That's why.
No, people won't invest the cash into it. And even if it's white labeled, it would have to have its own TPD testing rather than just saying, well, actually, there's a document for the original one. We've just white labeled it, banged our own label on it, and we're selling it as this.
Yeah.
So it cut a lot of the shit out as well.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Pugsley said there's a new story saying Philip Morris has said he's stopping his combustible fags to concentrate on IQOS and moving to the vape scene. That I don't think that will ever happen because cigarettes make way too much fucking money. A lot more money than vape.
Speaking of Philip Morris and IQOS, have you heard anything about that IQOS mesh?
I haven't, no.
The little pod system.
No way.
Yeah.
What, and it's an actual for e-liquid?
Yeah. Let me find it.
See if you can get it up and share your screen. Also, Nick Humphries says long fills are for the German market mainly. We don't sell ours in the UK. Yeah, Germany is very much like we used to be 3-4 years ago when DIY was all the range. I 100% agree with you on that, Nick. I just feel like it's always a possibility in the UK, but with us doing short fills and people finding it a lot easier just to add nick shots rather than add the VG, PG, nicotine and all that, then yeah, that's fine. I think with the TPD2, as I will speak to somebody in Germany and they was mentioning the words TPD2, which I believe is like a revision supposed to come in this year, I believe. That they're going to have a revision and they're going to say something about it's just going to be concentrate. So, yeah, I know what you're saying about the long fills.
Where
Have you found this IQOS?
I'm finding it now. Share screen.
Until it goes down the lines of HVC testing, tox reports, lung tissue analysts, then there will be very little companies left. Germany are already in TPD2. There we go.
There we go. Here's the IQOS mesh.
Let's have a look at this.
No, I don't want to chat to you. Fuck off.
Let's have a look.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the IQOS mesh.
What, is it very similar to a Tigger-like, yeah?
Pretty much.
With all these photos and stuff with the coffee and that, it seems like they're pulling into the lifestyle of things.
Exactly.
They're pulling into the lifestyle of things.
That's the IQOS mesh. It does seem like he is concentrating on vaping, which I'm not knocking him for. If he's willing to stop making fags and go into vaping, and okay, we all don't agree with the heat not burns, but they are beneficial for certain people. Certain people don't get on with vaping and do find the heat not burns work for them. If it's even only 5% less harmful than smoking, then it's still 5% less harmful.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it in vape shop because I don't particularly think it's a vape.
Yeah.
But if it's helping someone become slightly more healthier and benefit their life, then fair enough.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100% on that. Right, Nicky, I will let you love you and leave you. I'll let you get off, mate. Paul said he's ready to come back on, mate. So I'll thank you very much for coming on at the beginning of the show and for joining us. You're an absolute gent. And I'll speak to you after the show.
All right, then.
All right, mate. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
No worries. Speak to you.
Love yous.
Bye.
Bye. Here he is. Guess who's back again. Good evening, sir. Thank you for coming on. I did mention at the beginning of the show the reason why he wasn't on the show. I did watch a fair bit of it, and God bless us, brave us out in that video. So yeah, I did see the video. Brave result. So good evening to everybody in chat again. We have got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. PH in the house.
Which I'm not knocking him for. If he's
You win. You won.
Yeah. Sorted.
Sweet. So, how's your week been? What you have for tea? What you vaping? And let's get into a bit of how you've been. We've not spoke since Christmas. So, how's everything been? How's your week? How's your Christmas? How's your New Year been? And how's everything been?
Oh, good mate. It's I had a nice relaxing Christmas. We had a mad 1 second. We had a mad Christmas day, Boxing Day, and then chilled. Sitting on my breakfast. We went out to the picture on New Year's Eve to watch Frozen 2. Come back, chilled, went back to work on the 6th, been busy at work. And my birthday, nice chilled night. Can't handle all these heavy nights now. I'm getting older, mate. I had a nice chilled break. It was good. It's good.
Really, really good. So we saw some pictures of you in a onesie. Tell us a little bit about this onesie I'd mentioned. Onesie and the Yeezys definitely voted for Corbyn.
Well, I did try and get a Ralph Lauren one. So yeah, we went on the Polar Express. That was on the Sunday before Christmas, which was an old steam train from Birmingham, and it went out somewhere and then come back. And it was that was actually wicked. That was really good for the kids. Singing and cookies and hot chocolate. And if you've watched the Polar Express, it's that sort of shit's going on throughout the journey, and the train driver marching through the fucking thing, and then Father Christmas come, and yeah, that was wicked. So I thought I should do my bit, and I didn't see too many dads in onesies though, man.
Did you not?
I was assured that everyone would be wearing pajamas.
And that wasn't the case. And you was the coolest dad there in the onesie and the Yeezys.
And then I said to Billy, I says, "What you saying about a onesie, son?" He says, "No, if you're wearing one, I'll wear one." And I said, "I think everyone else is wearing them." He's like, "Yeah, sweet." So we ordered the onesie. And it just, I didn't see. I can't say that I see any other dads in pajamas and miserable motherfuckers.
I will be honest though, with the jackets on, it did look like you just wear trackies. With the jackets.
No, I like Chav level 99, to be
honest. I was like, yeah.
A tracksuit, some fucking looked like I was wearing a cheap tracksuit with some bully Yeezys and a Ralph Lauren body warmer.
Yeah, but as you said, it's about the kids, and if the kids enjoyed it and everybody had fun, that's all that it was about. Fuck what other guys want.
It was a good day. That was as well. That was
nice. Yeah, because I have seen the film and I've looked at it before, but it's always been fucking fully booked up, like literally every time.
Yeah, Tasha. I think it cost us 300 quid for 8 of us. Bearing in mind the 2 little ones, we didn't pay for them. It was like 50 quid a ticket. So, well, it was nice, man. It was a nice afternoon, and it's like you pay £300 and they bring round cookies. And Emmy was sat on my lap, and I says to the woman, "Can I have a cookie for the baby?" And she was like, "No, it's only the paid people that get a cookie." And I was like, "Fucking hell!" I says, "You've come here full of Christmas spirit, ain't you, cunt?" Mate, this was a cookie from Costco. And I was like, "Seriously, can't have another cookie?" She was like, "Oh, no, I'd have to share with the adults." I was like, "Well, fuck you then, you cunt."
What? I paid 50 quid a ticket, man. Shit. Would you? The question is, now you've done it, do you need to ever do it again?
They do different ones, so I mean, mate. I mean, I don't know if Emmy would even remember that this time next year. You know what I mean? Obviously, the older kids would probably be a bit like, seriously. Again,
Yeah.
He was nice though. It was good.
It does sound like fun, and as you say, it's all about making them memories, isn't it? That's what it's about, is making them memories. So we'll get into a few things. We've mentioned on this last week, but I never got your opinion on it because obviously you wasn't with us last week because it was your birthday. But I saw you post it as well. You shared it as well. I shared it. Tash shared it. A fair few people then shared it. The banning of menthol cigarettes and rolling tobacco in the UK. What is your honest opinion?
And you can't get hold of menthol tobacco, menthol cigarettes. Get yourself on some menthol vape. Well, and I'll say to you, the absolute honest truth, right, out of every flavour that you can vape, a menthol vape is the closest to smoking a menthol cigarette that you're going to get. So, what do I think of it generally? I think it's actually bollocks, but mate, literally, I could buy 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 menthol tips and shot them out after the ban.
Yeah.
Because I know there's going to be people going to be pissed off.
Do you think people are literally stopped now?
You know what, mate? When I went back onto cigarettes before, I always used a Juul. And if I didn't click it, I didn't like it. Like I said to Tasha the other day, I'm over 12 months without a drag of a cigarette again. So I give up on the 2nd of Jan, I think, last year. Tasha stopped solely completely on the 1st of January. And I don't know if I had 1 or 2 on the 2nd and then realised that she'd stopped and I stopped. So I'm over 12 months since I've had any cigarette whatsoever. If I was going to have a cigarette, almost 99, I would not smoke a normal fag. So for me personally, the fact that I can't get menthol cigarettes means that I would not smoke a cigarette. So, but genuinely, is anyone out there? Huh?
Is that cause an influx in other cigarettes going up in price?
I actually don't know, to be fair, because I don't even know what the price of a packet of cigarettes is these days. Because I literally, like my mum will say to me sometimes, grab us a packet of fags. So, no, not a chance, mate. I don't buy them for myself. I ain't fucking buying them for you. I mean, I don't know what a packet of fags is. I don't know how much they've gone up for in the budget because I don't look at it anymore because it doesn't really affect me. So, but I said to Tasha, the good thing is that people that obviously when we started selling vapes as starters back in the day, they all wanted a tobacco flavored liquid because they wanted to replicate their cigarette. And the most successful people for me were the ones that used to smoke menthol, started vaping menthol. And it's such a close switch. And maybe not to a clicker, but certainly to like a consulate or something like that, full menthol. You don't really taste the tobacco in a menthol cigarette, you taste the menthol solely, so it's quite cold. And so actually, if you're vaping a menthol liquid, it is the closest thing to smoking a menthol cigarette.
A lot of people go onto menthol though, don't they? When, like even if they're using traditional tobacco, like without menthol or menthol tips or anything like that, they usually
when I first started vaping, which was back in, when did I start vaping? 2010, 2011. When did I start vaping? I want to say 2010 when I got the very first vape stick, and I think I said this before. Like when you eat it, come with a 1.2, a 1.8, and 2.4 milligram. Sorry, 1.8, 1.2, 1.8, 2.4%, which was a 12, 18, and 24 milligram cartridge, and it come with a light tobacco and a menthol. And actually, whenever I bought a new kit, the first tips that I used was always the menthol, and enjoyed vaping the menthol. But I've got this thing in the back of my mind that if I bought menthol tips, because they're about 50 quid for a tub of tips, I think, and that tub of tips would last me about a month or something. Yeah, but that'd last me a month. I was spending 50 quid a day on cigarettes. So, But I'm thinking I don't want to waste £50 on menthol tips because I might start clucking for a cigarette. So I've vaped their tobacco tips for 9 months. What? I bought another new kit, got the menthol tips, and I was like, I actually enjoy this menthol. And then from that day, I've mouth to lung a menthol, and I've used bloodsucker now probably for around getting on for 12 months or so. And it's still sort of that mentally aniseedy back end. If I vape my cousin's vape at work and he uses the shady vaping menthol, actually, I really enjoy it. And I think I'm going to give menthol. I used to use ice menthol back in the day, which was totally wicked ice menthol. Fire. I vaped it for a long time after we sold shady vaping menthol. And then one day I was like, you know what, I need to choose my own menthol. So I tried our ice menthol and it was too cold. So I went to a standard menthol, used it exclusively for 4 years maybe. And now I really enjoy menthol when I vape it, but I did try going back to menthol about 6 months ago. And it was just too much.
Yeah.
But when I vape Darren's one at work, I'm like, oh, you know what, I need to I've got another K from Lloyd's. I should just dig it out and put menthol in it and just switch it about because I do actually genuinely love a menthol vape.
And menthol's always good for your taste buds as well, I think. You know, when you've used a certain e-liquid for a while, if you jump onto a menthol and do a few days on a menthol and you go back to your favourite e-liquid like you would go back to your bloodsucker, it'd just be a different flavour. I feel like the flavour would immense.
Even when I was mouth to lung, when I first started seriously mouth to lung inhaling, suburban vaping, neck using, I was still exclusively on menthol liquid. And actually, I only changed over from menthol liquid probably about halfway through 2017. I started using V Juice's Purple Rain, and I used that for about 6 or 7 months. Oh no, tell a lie. Before V Juice's Purple Rain, I was on Heisenberg, and so I've done about 4 years on me. Exclusively would only vape shady vaping's menthol. Then I tried it. I must have set a tip for someone up in the shop, and they wanted Heisenberg because they'd heard about it, and I've never tried Heisenberg. It's probably probably our second or third biggest selling liquid. Shady vaping menthol, shady vaping ice menthol, shady vaping cherry menthol, shady vaping tobacco, and we used to do a menthol tobacco. Were our top 5 selling flavours. Bearing in mind at that time we had about 70 flavours in the range, and the top 5 flavours were menthol, ice menthol, cherry menthol, tobacco menthol. Heisenberg hitting amongst them 5 flavours somewhere. But I'd never ever tried it, and I set the kit up for the bloke, and I had a drag, and I was like, "Fucking hell, fire that is!" And that again, it's a mentally type, aniseedy type, blueberry, whatever the fuck's in Heisenberg. No one really knows exactly what the mix is because no one's Heisenberg, in my opinion, is as good as Vampire Vape's Heisenberg. And so then I've done Vampire Vape Heisenberg exclusively then for 12 months maybe. Then I went on to Purple Rain, done Purple Rain for about 6 or 7 months, tried to go back to Heisenberg, didn't really get on with it. And then the bloke that we bought the Vampire Vape off said to me, "Have you tried Bloodsucker?" And I was like, "No," and he said, "I'll send you a bottle of that." And then I started saying that. So I'd say now, top 10, 50-50 mouth to lung liquids, roughly off the top of my head. There's charges in there from Vampire Vape, Heisenberg Vampire Vape, Bloodsucker Vampire Vape, Pinkman not so much anymore. Then we've got the menthol, the ice menthol, the tobacco, cherry menthol. We do Pink Blaze in shady vaping, which is all we sold well. But back in the day, Beetlejuice used to sell. Beetlejuice is just like a tropically pineapple come mango come something called. It's a bit like umbongo, but with something different in there actually. Because we used to do an umbongo liquid as well, and it was different to that. Beetlejuice used to probably sell out of any other liquid 5 to 1.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, just the menthols, the cherry menthols, we do a blueberry menthol, all them menthol flavours outsell all the flavours for mouth to lung, and always have done. And in the Vampire Vape range, again, we stock probably 10 or 12 flavours in Vampire Vape. So we stock the rhubarb and crumble and whatever some of their latest flavours are. They sell, but the menthol all day vape, mentally aniseedy, mate-along flavours outstrip the flavours by probably 10 to 1.
For mouth to lung, yeah, definitely. I feel like you're sticking on that barrier, aren't you? I feel like that you can get, like, we offer the custody, the desserty, the fruity, but I feel like menthol is very much a staple throughout mouth to lung, isn't it? Like, I think it's something that will always be there.
Exclusively vape, shady vaping, red slush, 50-50, 12 milligram. That's all she'll make them. And don't get me wrong, you always set her tank up for her, or re-wick it and I set it up. That red slush is fire. And actually, genuinely, is a quality liquid now. We sell it in short fill as well. And it used to be probably the biggest selling short fill in the shady vaping range. I'd say that it's probably a top 10 now in the 50-50 range. And as much as I like it, I just could not vape it every day. And for me, it's that replicating of a cigarette. And I mean, I spent a long time trying to perfect a tobacco menthol. So I always used to say to people, like back in the day when coils weren't as good and tanks weren't as good, I used to love it when my coil got to a certain point where it was half full and it added a little bit of grittiness to my throat. I can't explain it because it was a bit more closer to smoking a cigarette.
Like the scratch.
Yeah, which I get. I mean, I know that I've spent 80% of the day suburban vaping 0 milligram 80-20, and I don't cluck for a cigarette. But if I smoke in bloodsucker, it's too smooth. So then psychologically, I don't feel like I'm smoking. And if I smoke a 6 milligram in shady vaping ice menthol, I could smoke it all day every day because it's that cold. It gives you that fucking hit on the back of the throat.
Yes. Yeah.
So not a tobacco thing for me. It's that grittiness of being something similar to a cigarette.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things that a lot of people reminisce. I really enjoy scratching the back of the throat because it is reminiscent of like coughing after you first hit on your first cigarette in the morning. Is like that scratchy pulley and on the back of your throat. Right, the next subject I want to talk about. I don't know if you've actually seen this article, but this is from the Daily Record, which I believe is a Scottish paper. And the article reads, Edinburgh vaping tycoon slammed for 1p an hour contract clause for workers. Have you seen the article?
I didn't read it. I seen a screenshot of the article.
So it says, millionaire brothers Callum and Connor Henderson have incurred the wrath of politicians, unions and lawyers for the jaw-dropping employment terms. Two of Scottish most successful businessmen have been condemned for threatening workers with a shameful 1 pence an hour pay rate. Without sort of going on the morals of what these people are doing, what do you think that sort of a look it has on vaping?
I don't think it has any look on vaping, quite frankly. I just think, I mean, I know when all this banter was leading up to the vote and I was quite blatantly saying that I was going to vote for Boris Johnson. I think the day before the election, I actually said it's not really for any political reasons. It's actually because I like Boris. I don't feel like any of them have got much more of a say than anyone else. And people mocking me saying, "No, you're just scared, man, in case you have to up your staff's wages and rare." And whether there is employment law in place or not that dictates a minimum, I don't think any proper bona fide business person should drop wages just because the law allows them to. I don't believe in minimum wage. I don't agree with minimum wage, quite honestly. Not for any other reason. I don't believe that every job is dictated at minimum wage. And I think it's forced industry to hold wage rises for people that do deserve them. And
do you think anybody's daft to sign a contract like says 1p clause?
You are.
Do you think a person is stupid for ever signing a contract that would allow them to be put on a 1 pence an hour wage?
I just think if your employer's trying to back you into a corner of signing a 1 pence an hour wage, you don't want to be working for that geezer.
Mm.
That's my honest opinion, and I'm saying it's not about slave driving. There's certain jobs that I pay for people who work in our factory minimum wage, plus bonuses, plus tonnage bonuses, plus attendance bonuses. And I know that they would rather go and work in my vape shop for minimum wage than working there.
Mm.
So, and yet I also know that from that business point of view, which turns over somewhere in the region of £4 million a year for the galvanising, something like 4.5 mil, we could not sustain a wage rise to £10.50 an hour across the board.
Mm.
Without putting our prices up, and we put our prices up, and people say, yeah, but if everyone puts the prices up, then it makes no difference. It does, because they start looking for alternatives.
Yeah.
So that's galvanising is not the cheapest coating. It's most definitely the best coating, but it's not the cheapest. Then you're back down to the situation where someone says it's equivalent to buying hand rolling tobacco instead of Benson and Hedges.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? I've seen people saying to me, "Oh, you just want to pay your staff £1 an hour." I wouldn't expect anyone to work for £1 an hour. But I also think wages is horses for courses, and I think length of service and knowledge and training amounts to more value than someone who's just got into the job. When I started on £2.21 an hour.
Yeah.
25 years ago, in 3 weeks' time, £2.21 an hour.
And in equivalence of today's money, it's still fuck all, really, isn't it? It's not even like equivalent to minimum wage.
I've done double shifts. I work Saturdays, I work Sundays, and I took home less than fucking £170 a week. But £170 a week then weren't too bad. But I was doing 2 shifts worth of work for that. I think on a standard week, I earned around about £110 with shift allowances and stuff like that. Gross to £110 a week.
Fucking hell.
I had to give my dad some rent, and I used to smoke, and I drove, and that was it. That was my wages done. But it made me aspire to become a forklift truck driver because they got more money. Then I aspired to become a quality inspector because they got more money. Then I became a supervisor. Then I became a charge hand. Then I became a supervisor of one of the shifts. Then I became a supervisor of one of the factories. Then I became a supervisor of over the 2 factories. Then I became manager of the lot and worked my way up to a director. And I've done that because, 1, I weren't content working on the shop floor, but 2, every step that I made give me some sort of wage rise.
Mm.
And if I could walk into
drive,
that paid my wages, let me drive the car that I drive, gives me the pension that I've got, gives me the private healthcare that I've got, but I could be folding bits of paper and shoving them in an envelope, why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah.
So I just think. I mean, I don't understand. I'm guessing at the moment you can't put £1 per hour contract in place because it's not legal, because you've got to pay minimum wage.
I'm not sure how they've done it, and it doesn't really say in the article how they've done it, but it just literally said 1 pence per hour, and it's whether that's if they're commission based, and if they don't earn it, they're on £1 an hour.
I don't know. I only seen a screenshot of it, so I would have read the link actually. If you've got the link, send it to me and I'll read through it. But not now. I mean, send it me now and I'll read it later. But I just seen someone had screenshot it in another vape group, and obviously I could have had nothing to click on to take me any further forward. As far as reading
the link, I'll fire over the link. So what we'll move on to now is another bit of news. So today, the New Jersey have approved the flavour ban. We've discussed that a little bit earlier with Nikki, but as I say, New Jersey are the first people to ban flavour across the board now.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that? Do you feel like it's going to be more of a statewide wide thing, or do you think it's just going to be them at the minute?
Mate, again, if I'm being honest, I've stopped paying attention to it. I just think it is what it is. What's going to happen is going to happen. We ain't never going to stop it. We deal with what we have to deal with when we have to deal with it. And if it changes in the UK, we have to change what we're doing. The industry itself's changed massively in the last 2 years, more noticeably in the last 12 months. Certainly from a retail point of view, it's different. But it is what it is, and I don't honestly get that wrapped up in what's happening in America. I know it's affecting lots of people. I know it's affecting lots of people's jobs and all that sort of stuff. But I just concentrate on what we've got to do over here. And I think if it changes over here, we act accordingly. And if the business is sustainable, we carry on. If it's not, we stop. And it's that same mantra I've said all the way through. If we're in a position where we can't carry on trading, we don't carry on trading. If we can, we run. We'll do the best that we can. And I don't know. I don't really know what else to say. To be honest, mate, it's every state seems to be doing different things. People are putting bans in and taking bans out. And
have you heard about the suing as well?
no,
The suing of eight online vendors currently being sued for sending nicotine product into Massachusetts.
and is that from America to America?
Yeah. So, but basically, because I was discussing it with Nicky, and we both basically said it's got to be a sting operation where somebody of a governing body has then ordered nicotine stuff into Massachusetts, and they found 8 vendors actually send the product across to Massachusetts where vaping is banned totally.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's. I'm sure that's what happened.
So that they're currently going through 8 vendors are being sued around the states who have actually sent in product, and these are not like big stores either. These are like mum and papa shops as well. They're not big franchise stores. They're literally like us, family run businesses that are sent into Massachusetts, and they're getting sued by the government for sending in nicotine products.
They shouldn't have sent the nicotine products in. The law's the law, and when you like it already, you go from situation to situation. And I think it just is what it is, and everyone can be up in arms, and everyone can get. It's the law's the law, mate. And when you like it, that's what it is.
100%. So let's get into 2020. So we've got the London Expo coming up in 30 days. What is your expectation for the first Vapor Expo in London, and what are your plans for Vapor Expo? I know you're not going to be able to answer that second one.
Literally had a phone call off Jay probably Monday afternoon, and I was in a meeting and I just missed the call. I didn't even see his phone, actually. I missed the call. And then right as I was leaving the office, I realised I got a missed call, and it was Jay, and I thought, when I get in my car, I'll give him a bell, and I completely forgot. And then when you messaged me, or someone messaged me today about something, and I thought, fuck, I meant to phone Jay back, so I'll give Jay a bell tomorrow. I haven't done a single thing for Expo in London. We're trying as we did before Christmas without any success. We're trying to get this concentrating for a new flavour, to drop the new flavour, and I'm still working on that, and I'm still trying to get it. If we can get it in the next 10 days, we can still get the new flavour dropped at London. But the people that make the concentrate aren't playing ball, and when they do play ball, they're fucking not very fast to respond. Mod-wise, I'm guessing we'll get a batch of stuff over to Tim Davis to get some etching done. I think I'm going to get some Cerakoting done as well. And then I'm in talks with China about doing this batch of Shermans for May in Birmingham. I need to go and see Oggy at Morningstar about 2 potential projects, one being a mod, one being a tank. So yeah, it's a difficult one, mate, because the industry is that slow at the moment that well, these projects cost money, and it's like we're past the days of the money rolling in that quick that if you pump 10 grand on something, it don't work. 4 years ago, it weren't the end of the world. We just moved on to the next project. It's a bit more crucial than that now, and sort of throwing 10 grand at a tank and 10 grand at a mod, and it not selling how it needs to sell in order to recover some funds to keep putting it back in. It makes it more and more difficult to make them decisions to say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. However, if we can get smaller numbers made at a higher price, we'll save the same money, and I genuinely will take a cut on our margin to get the product out there for people to go, yes, this is what we want, or no, it's not actually not that fucking good. But it gives us a gauge. Back in the day, we'd kick off. We kicked off the first few mods with 100, and then a couple of 100, then 300. But before I knew it, we was ordering 1,000 at a time. And if we didn't sell them, I weren't really that arsed, because we were selling other stuff at a rate of knots constantly, day in, day out, day in, day out. So we didn't really make no odds. And then we had a chance to sit on that stock and then sell it and move it on. Everything's just different, and less people are punting on new products, apart from the big Chinese manufacturers.
Do you think it's slow for everybody though? Because I feel like the industry itself is now, we've come into 2020 and it's still sort of plodding along. It's not like it used to be where there's a booming product because we got to the stage where we were a product every week. We then got to the stage where we're sort of talking a product every month. We're now talking every few months as a new product coming. Do you think it's the whole industry that's slowed down? Right, because there's still growth in the industry. The weird thing about it is there's still growth in the industry, but the product is not coming out because the consumer has sort of slowed down.
I just think the consumers change, mate. I was talking to someone about Billy. I think Billy today at work says to me about Expo and about launching new product and that. And I says the problem is, like, Billy and my cousin was in my office, and I said, well, it's the same thing we've said over and over, Tom, that back in the day, because we had nothing to compare the new product to, we bought the product, we tested the product, we talked about the product, we built it together, we vaped it together, we conferred together. Now, the people that have come into this industry in the last 2 years don't know what it's like to have to drill air holes. They don't know what it's like to not be able to put a 20 gauge build into a deck. They don't know what it's like to not have enough room to get your cores in there. They don't know what it's like to fucking have to make something to stack a mod, because you can buy stack mods, you can buy triple stack mods, you can buy fucking whatever you want to buy is there on a plate for you. So the fact that there's such a choice for them to pick from the get-go, we had when we did that growth, we was in the middle of the new product launches, we wanted to know what they were like, but you'd never seen them. Now, it is what it is. You've got sub-ohm tanks, you've got 200 watt mods, you've got 300 watt mods, you've got stack mech mods, you've got triple stack mech mods, you've got triple box mods, you've got parallels, you've got series. Look, you think of the frenzy around the noisy cricket, 30 quid or whatever it was, 34.99 for a noisy cricket. Yeah. The frenzy around the mod, because it was a series mod, for 35 quid, double the power. Now it's just the norm. There's nothing to sort of. So then it ultimately does come down to aesthetics. It comes down to whether they drop them. Look, for me, I'd love to have the money to go to a battery company and say, make me some 6-volt batteries. Yeah. Exclusively, I want 6-volt batteries. And then we can stack them motherfuckers at 12 volts for 2. I mean, that's where I see things changing. Is, can battery technology take us to another plane?
Yeah, and the only person sort of really investing a hell of a lot of money in battery technology is like Elon Musk, isn't it? And then he's taking the product and putting it with his own development.
He's got bigger fish to fry than vaping, that's for sure.
No, but what I mean is, like, he's actually producing battery tech. Not really anybody else is sort of dealing with that. Even phones to this day still use the same battery fucking tech, apart from a 2-amp charge now. You know what I mean? Tech in batteries is not really like something that's looked at, because we use batteries on a day-to-day basis that we don't really know we're using, but we're using them all day long. So the only way for, as you say, for advancing, if you had the dough to like invest in battery technology, which is fucking a massive market because everybody uses it, but the person that's only doing it is a multi-billionaire. And it's like when we were talking about the 2700s, the 21700s were made ready available because of the Tesla, and that was Elon Musk. And he's sort of developing this battery. He owns like majority of all the battery fucking companies anyway. So he's going, right, well, my fucking car needs them, so I'll have them. Do you know what I mean? So they're not even like general releasing.
He produces and consumes more batteries now than anybody else in the world.
That's what I mean. So for the tech to go forward and to be ready available for us to do it would mean for somebody like him to general release a battery that you could put into not necessarily vaping, but into a torch or into fucking everyday things we use, and it doesn't seem to be coming, does it? Let's be realistic. Like that's the main thing for me is battery tech is immense in vaping. Like everybody wants the new battery, wants it something different. 21700s has now become staple. Well, we need to move on from 21700s. What can we do else? Well, the person who's investing in battery technology is the one consuming the batteries. He's not just like making them and going, here they are for fucking general release. He's going, here, I'm having them. I'm putting them in my product.
Somewhere there's an 18700.
18700.
I mean, I might have made this up, but like, that's what we need. We need an 18700 so you can have a nice, decent sized mod with a dirty amperage, dirty mod.
18700.
26700 would be fire. 24700 would be fire.
18700 is a 2600 mAh battery. X-Tar have released them 18700.
Yeah, fuck putting one of them in your mod.
They're also out of stock as well.
When I was importing batteries from China, they used to do an 18650 that was square. They do like a square cell. It's an 18650, and then they do all these mad sizes in between. But they're obviously for torches and shit like that, and different battery packs for different products. But there was nothing that had like a decent mAh rating and a decent amp rating. But I was like, square batteries for a box mod is fire, because the mAh rating and the amp rating on the square cell was more than it was on the round cell, because actually the capacity in the square 18650 was more than the fucking cylinder one. And I was like, this is what we need, man. But like a 26700 would be sick.
Can we not just put one of them 6 volts in somewhere? Give them that big chunky 6 volts.
The trouble is the battery charger technology is designed around 3.7 nominal, 4.2 maximum, and it's like, it's not just about developing a battery, it's developing a whole new fucking science around the batteries, the chargers, everything that goes with it. But
because you've obviously got like, you know, you've got your what are the small ones? Are they the 9 volts?
Square battery.
The square 9 volts, yeah.
Yeah, these were like square, perfectly square, not like a square battery is actually a rectangle battery, a 9 volt square is a rectangle. These were square. They were rectangles, but they were square base, and then tall like an 18650, but they were square. But they've done all different sorts of cells, and I was thinking at the battery cell, saying, what cells can we use there to utilise in a device, whether it be regulated or mech, to offer something that no one else is offering.
See, as you say, then you think about a square battery, as you say, would definitely be able to add more into it, wouldn't you? With the cylinder-shaped batteries, you're not going to get as much in them. But then once again, how are you gonna? How would you create would it be have to be a square mech, or would you just have to have that much meat on it that you could have a cylinder, but it'd be square in it?
No, I'm saying all for box mods or something. So you just sit next to each other, don't take no more width, and the space that's lost in a box mod on the batteries being circular will just be consumed with more power and more amperage. But like, why has no one done a 24700? Why has no one done a 26700?
Yeah,
because our original dirty mod is slightly bigger than our dirtier mod, and with an 18650 over the dirtier having a 2700 in it, it's still slightly shorter by about 1.2 mil. And yet the battery's 5 mil.
But once again, I think doesn't it go back to people's mindsets of, I've got a shit ton of fucking 18650s. There's still people out there that don't use 21700s because the fact is they've got a fucking 100 18650s.
Yeah, but they're tight twats, because if they use 21, they are, mate. They're simple as that. Right? You use 21. Now the trouble is, in a mechanical device, in a regulated device, it doesn't really make that much difference. apart from battery life. And if you put a set of 30 Qs in there, you've got 6,000 mile or 9,000 mile if it's triple. It's not the end of the world. But actually, in mech mod, anyone that uses a single stacked mech, if anyone even tries and tells me an 1860, you're absolute sausage. You know what you're talking about.
You're a liar, yeah.
They just don't work as good.
Do you think it's just because they're so staple 18650s? I think that's the reason. Is because people are just so used to using 18650, and anything out of the fucking norm of an 18650 is weird. That's how I feel like we are. We're very much stuck in our fucking ways.
I just think if you bought that many 18650 batteries, that you can't replace your batteries every 6 months to 21,700, you're a prat. Do you know what I mean? Look, at some point, you've got to change your cells anyway.
Mm.
And our working mod will take any variation of 18650, 2700, 26650.
Do you believe the mod market's gone in that direction though? Not just predominantly mechs, but like even regulated mods have gone down the 21700 route.
Yeah, most rigs now are 18650 or 2700, 21700. But I think you've already done like a 28mm tube. I don't think I'd even put in adapters for an 18650.
You just go straight 21700.
The only reason why I've done it with the dirty is because I like the fact that it took all of them cells. And we had to put adapters in because it works better with the 21700 than it does with the 26650. But then some people just want that 650, fucking 4,500 mAh, stack it up, it lasts for days and days. If it's stacked, your sag's not so bad, and all them things that happen with the 26650. But I think if I was to do a 28mm mod now, I'd just make it 21700 compatible.
Straight 20, yeah. I'm a big believer in 21700.
You can buy a rubber sleeve, mate, that's got a 5mm adapter on it. You pop your battery inside the rubber sleeve and slide it in the mud, and if you ain't got a 21700, you can run it 18650. What I'm saying, if you're buying a new mod that takes a 21700 and you're using an 18650 adapter, you're prat.
But I believe but I believe you shouldn't be buying a mod that's an 18650 anyway when there is 21700 mods out there. Like, I don't understand why we're still going to not old tech, but tech that we've already used. If you haven't used the 21700 battery and you're just like in the same mode of sitting there and going, fuck that, I've got 18650s for days, I don't need fucking 21700s. But then you sit there and moan when you've got to charge fucking 90 18650s.
Yeah, but so I mean, I've never moaned about charging batteries. I've got an 8-bay charger in my kitchen. I've got an 8-bay charger in my office. There's fucking 16 batteries between the two. There's two. I've got a shelf full of mods in the living room that have probably got. I wouldn't even look to hazard a guess. I bet there's 30 cells amongst all them mods. Well, if I set a mod up, I'd stick 2 new batteries in it and stick 2 more on the charger. And I'm in a fortunate situation where I can fucking phone Disco and say, do us a favour, when you pop over more, bring 20 VCT 5As with you. Because I still like the size of an 18650. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But it's changing consumers' mindsets that 21700 is the battery. And we were saying this last year. We were saying 21700 needs to become a staple, and everyone's sort of moving towards it. But there's still a lot of people sort of saying, I've got 18650s, what do I need to try 21700s for? Well, we're not going to advance the battery technology when people aren't taking to the battery technology. So these big fucking companies go, fuck that, we're not making them.
They are taking to it, Tom, because the 21700 now. What, when we launched the Emperors, I couldn't even get hold of a battery to fit the mod we'd already got manufactured because the batteries that we designed it around were no longer available because Elon Musk was stuffing them into every fucking test that went out of the factory. Now, if you went on a website and then you're fucking 2700s, 21700s, they even a fucking vape shop.
Yeah.
They're out there. And when we started selling 21700 Sonys, they were like $11.99 each.
Mm.
And I made less money on that than I did selling a fucking 25R for £4.
Yeah.
Not percentage money. They were costing me like tenors, £9 wholesale. Now I think we're retailing them at £7 or something like that, $6.99 or something for a 21700 or thereabouts.
But does
So,
the
like,
demand in that battery bring it down, Paul, though?
Does what?
Does the demand in that battery bring the price down?
Yeah, exactly. My point is that obviously we had situations where some people had bought an Empress off us. We were selling a pair of 2700s for a tenner each, and they'd say, "Oh, fuck that, mate. I'll just have two 25Rs, 750 for a pair. Save £12.50." Now, if 21700 had come out 4 years ago, when that boom was on, we'd have converted to 21700 juice inside 3 months across the range, regulated mech, everything would have went 21700 because everyone partied with their money.
True. Very true. Yeah, you're right in that aspect. It is down to the consumer where the market aims, really. Yeah, definitely. But once again, when we start talking about battery tech and stuff like that, then it gets disappointing because consumers won't get behind the battery technology. And if they're wanting better battery technology, the only way they're going to do it is by the consumer demand. Because big companies aren't going to start manufacturing and making different tech because they're going to go, well, you're not even fucking using what's out there. And that's where it sort of like draws me down.
Someone would have to put some serious clank into a battery company making a battery specifically for the vape market. But battery sizes are changing. But I bet there's loads of power tools now and laptops, etc., that are running 21700 that weren't figure. 21700 weren't in 3 years ago. The 2700 was the first thing to come out, then 21700. But then if they decide that they can get more MAR and more amperage out of the 22700, by default, they will filter down to the vape market.
Yeah. Yeah, because these batteries aren't manufactured for vaping. We've just sort of adapted these batteries to fit in with vaping.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, if a 23700 come out tomorrow, by the end of next week, we could have some sleeve adapters made for the dirty, so you could run 23700.
Yeah.
Because they will give you a better amp rating, and you would assume they'll give you a better MAR rating as well. So,
yeah, that's definitely something that hopefully we keep an eye on throughout 2020. That if Mr. Musk says, right, I'm creating a new battery and it's going out for general release, hopefully we can get our hands on something like that. So, what are your expectations for 2020 then in vaping? Not just yourself, but what sort of you expect to see in 2020? What would you like to see in 2020 for vaping? Whether it's regs or
I'd like to see bottle size changed. I would like to see, so you can have a 100ml bottle of 3 milligram again. I'd like to see tank size restriction removed. I'd like to see the 0 milligram have to be regulated in accordance with TPD, regardless of whether it contains nicotine or whether it doesn't. I'd like to see. And apart from that, I don't think we can expect much else. It's the industry is just different. It's what it is. It's changed. So I don't. You're never ever going to get to a point where everything's all rosy and everyone's happy. If businesses shut down, as I expect them to over the next couple of years, then maybe the people that are left end up with a slightly more stable business. But I just don't. Like, I love the hype that we created at Expo in October with the Claycon. And yet again, I think there's people out there who enjoy that hobby side of vaping. I just don't see that we get that excitement back to the point where we're doing what they were doing 2 years ago on vape groups. And I mean, I've been lame as fuck since Expo, to be honest, mate. We had the kid just before Expo, and then it was coming up to Christmas, and we're back now halfway through January, and I had that 30-day ban right after Expo. I had another 30-day ban leading up to Christmas. I had a 3-day ban over Christmas, and it's like trying to get some momentum going with mod wars and stuff and whatever is difficult. And then people break away into other groups because they want the people that want to do it, and there's people out there that are loving life and loving meching and loving hobbying, and there's people that just use a mech because that's what they use to stop smoking.
Yeah, I honestly think 2020 is sort of the year of regs. I really think like this about going back to the States sort of massively. I feel like the States this year is going to absolutely vanish fucking vaping from the States. I feel like we as an industry is going to be able to grow more because without sounding silly, I feel like there's going to be more investment from general public. I think there's going to be a bit more limelight on it, whether it's negative or positive. That's for us to fucking find out further on in the year. But I feel like there's going to be, with sort of, especially like your menthol and your rolling tobacco ban, I think people are going to try vaping now. I think that's going to sort of lean people towards actually what is vaping about. They're going to question it a little bit more, which is always good because then that grows the industry. And the fact is that it's growing the amount of vapors because I wouldn't say there's been a slowdown in the matter of converting people from smoking to vaping. I feel like it's a lot more easier to do these days. People are going into shops and hopefully this year will change that because then people will want to know what it's about. They'll try to go in shops and try to get an idea of what vaping is about and learn about vaping rather than just going online. That's my honest opinion for this year. I feel like it's gonna and it should open up to a lot more smokers. We've still got a lot more smokers to aim for. And let's be realistic, for everyone, your smokers is your bread and butter, and that's where it's going to constantly give us an industry because we need people to stop smoking and start vaping. That's my choice.
From my point of view, that's happened in the last 6 months is I'm not as active on Facebook from a sub-owned vaping method point of view. We're still selling endless mod. We've got designs out there. We've had prototypes and we're still working on that. But for me, during that massive boom, hobbying put a huge amount of cost to our business. But our market has been growing now forever. So even when that massive downturn happened, yes, our shops weren't selling over as much money, but we're still buying as many 10 mils a week as we've ever bought. We're still buying as many coils as we've ever bought. We still sell as many replacement motor lung kits as we've ever sold. And on that basis, that part of our business is very, very stable. Dudley, that's at Yardley. At Dudley, that shop was pretty much based around the sub-owned market, high-end vape gear that used to get mainly rebuildable. The made to look, but what we do sell in that shop now is predominantly made to lung as well, and that part's stable for us, and it's just what I'm doing. And if we have any booms within that we take advantage of, then we take advantage of them. If we don't, just crack on and do what we do.
Yeah, you're right. Right, let's get in. We've got half an hour left on the show. Let's get into some of the things. So, I don't know if you shared this post, but I saw the Facebook post about playing outside. If you was born in the 60s, 70s and 80s and playing outside. Did you see that post and did you repost it? Did you hear me?
Say all of that, mate, because I don't know if my internet dropped there or yours dropped there.
I was saying, did you see the Facebook post that everybody was sharing about if you was born in the 60s, 70s and 80s and playing outside?
Yeah.
Did you share the post?
No.
Well, I didn't share the post, but I saw it about playing outside in the 60s, 70s and 80s. I just want to know, what was your favourite game to play outside when you was a kid, when you played on the streets? And don't say stealing cars.
I didn't steal any cars till at least the early 90s. You know, I seen something the other day. I can remember spending hours and hours and hours just burning shit with a magnifying glass. Setting up, starting little fire. Like we had quite a big front garden in my mum and dad's house, and there was 2 rose beds in there. In the actual centre of the lawn, there was 2 circles that were going to be at least a 10-foot diameter, massive fucking circle. And when my dad used to cut the grass would go into the rose bed around the edge, and then it would obviously dry out. And you'd find a magnifying glass in the sun, and you sit and you get a little fire going, you get the dry grass start smouldering and get some paper on it and blowing it, and then you'd see a little ant, so you'd fucking toast the fuck out of an ant. Magic like that, man.
I would debate, right? So the reason I'm asking you this question is because I was debating earlier, right, about the reason why. I get the status and I get the reason it's being shared, but my answer to it is the reason that kids don't play outside is because, and I'm going to ask you this straight to the point. If some kids were sat outside your house or kicking ball against your wall or whatever, I would say exactly the same as I feel like you're going to answer. I'd be straight at window being like, what are these little cunts doing outside my house? Why the fuck are people in my street playing fucking what they're doing outside near my car? That ball that are not going to go in my car. That's how I feel like society is. I don't think it's necessarily just the kids. I think it's the way society is as well.
You know what? For me, as a parent of 7 kids, my biggest concern about Sinead going out of an evening is the fact that there's the cunts out there. I trust Sinead 100%. She's a sensible girl. She's 15 on Monday. And even like now, she's at senior school. She's in year 2 or year 3, whatever the fuck that is in New Money.
9, I think. Yeah, 9, isn't it?
So she's like, oh yeah, can I go to McDonald's with my pals on Saturday? And I'm like, what? We've got food in the house. Who are these people? I don't know them from fucking Alex. Are you really going to McDonald's? What if your friends decide they're not going to McDonald's? Have you got enough about it to say, well, I'm going home then because I've told my dad I'm going to McDonald's, and if we're not going, I need to go back home? And more than anything, I worry about other people out there, not about my own kids. And yet, when I was 13 years old, in the summer holidays, I could fuck off at 9 o'clock in the morning. I might not come back till 10 at night, and there weren't a mobile phone. Yeah. Where I was. But it's really difficult, mate, because.
But I can imagine your old man and your old ladies still like the same as us, wondering where the fuck we were, what we were doing, who we were with. I feel like society today is we all sit there, and this is me saying it blatantly fact. The reason that I predominantly wouldn't want Poppy out on the street and stuff is because of paedophiles. Paedophiles existed when I was a kid. They just shown in mainstream media, on social media, day in, day out. So it's more pushed in your face, but there's always been paedophiles. And that is one of the main reasons I feel like a lot of people don't let the kids go outside, because of, as you say, other people that are out there.
Paedophiles don't bother me that much. And again,
fucking scared me rotten.
You know, I wouldn't say they don't bother me, but I was raised in a family where we spoke about sex. Nothing was taboo. He fucking Jack down the road, he touched my bollocks. I'd have told my dad that Jack down the road's touched me bollocks. And I'd have followed my dad down the road while he went down and beat fucking Jack up. So I knew what was wrong. I knew what was wrong. Maddest of upbringings, probably start discussing on this show, sort of was heightened to pedophilia and talking to us about what someone should and shouldn't be doing to us. And actually, I'm I speak very open to my girl. Obviously not Emmy, she's 2, but Ava's 9, 8 going on, turned 10, Sinead's 14. I haven't got any qualms about talking to them about sex. Not in a way that's gonna make them inquisitive, but I don't believe any of them subjects at the ages that they are should be taboo. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't speak about fucking penetration and all that sort of shit, but I just don't. I think when families that are like, oh, you can't talk about that, are the ones that are probably getting, the kids are probably getting nonsense, and they don't know whether it's right or fucking wrong anyway.
Mm. Yeah, I just wanted to mention it because obviously I saw the post and I thought I agree with the post, but I predominantly think that it's us as a society that is on the edge. Fuck me, you know what I mean? Like,
me more than paedophilia is wankers out there with knives.
Yeah,
and it's because I was raised from an early age that if someone, what my old man was old school, mate. He was a fucking lad, but he hated bullies, and my old man thought that any of us three lads were bullying anyone. He'd have knocked us fucking out himself just to fucking teach us a lesson. And he always said to me, never hit no come first. If they hit you, fucking do what you've got to do. And obviously, I always run the risk that this first punch that I get hit with could not be fucking sparked out, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he always said to me, never hit no one first. No one can ever call you a bully then. And if someone hits you, you do your best to defend yourself and then fucking hammer them, do whatever you've got to do to fucking defend yourself. That's how I was raised. But I never, ever once, ever, in all my years, and I was an arsehole growing up, and I was in lots of fights, and I was trying to find my own feet, and I thought I was Jack the Lad. I can honestly say not once in all my years of fighting as a teenager did I ever think, what if that cunt's got a knife on him? Ever.
Yeah.
Never crossed my mind, never entered my mind. I never went into a strike with someone thinking, what if he fucking whips a knife out and stabs me? Because that's just not how it fucking was.
Mm. Do you feel it's more dangerous for kids these days?
Yeah, because I think social media's broken the generation, and I feel like they have to be stabbing people to live up to this hype that they've given themselves on social media that they're not even capable of carrying. I grew up, mate, knowing I always felt like I could hold my own. I was never scared. My dad raised me not to be scared of people. It's just how he was. Yeah. If you get cheated, sometimes it's a little lesson for you that maybe you shouldn't have opened your fucking mouth when you opened it. So I was raised not to be frightened of people, not to be scared of people, not to be intimidated by people, not to be bullied by people. But that also got me a slap every now and again. And it made me think about when I should be opening my mouth, when I shouldn't be opening my mouth. And like I've said many times, there's nothing I put on social media that I wouldn't say to someone's face.
Mm.
There's nothing that I say to anyone about anyone that I wouldn't say to someone's face, because that's just how that I was raised. Social media, mate, it's got all these Johnny Concretes who talk good boys. They've got their fucking CP goggle hat on, think that they're fucking gangsters, but they're twats.
Mm.
When push comes to shove and they bump into someone in the street that they've seen, that they've given the big one to, they have to stab them because they can't fight them, because they couldn't punch the way out of a wet fucking paper bag.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got my house is electric up. So before Christmas, I had the thermostat put in for the hive heating.
Yeah.
And I ordered 8 or 9, radiator valves, so I can actually control individual rooms temperature-wise on the app. But they never come until after Christmas. So last Friday, the engineer from the factory come out to my house, drained the radiator system, put all the new valves on, filled the system back up. I got back in Friday, spent about 3 hours fucking about with the hive app, trying to get everything set up all the schedules so at certain times the heating comes off, it goes off, it comes on, it goes off, drops down when the kids are at school in the bedrooms, it comes back up before they get home from school and goes back down after they should be asleep, blah, 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 blah. But I spent hours on this fucking thing on Friday night. And then I spent all day Saturday tweaking it, because my house is either Caribbean, grow weed hot, or it's fucking freezing cold. There's no halfway house here. It's hot or it's fucking cold. Normally it's hot. You've been in my house. Yeah. Most people come in my house dressed up and they're leaving their pants, mate, and not being able to breathe because it's that hot. So I've got Asha all day Saturday going, it's fucking freezing here. I'm saying it's 22 degrees, man. If it was 22 degrees in the garden, we'd all be out there in our bikinis and our shorts. It's hot, it's warm in there. It's just that we've got used to these fucking 26 degrees because the heat is just on. We acclimatised to it. And then, like, there's days, mate, I'm in there thinking, fucking hell, it's a bit parky there. And I go outside to put the bin out and it's fucking freezing. And I walk back in the house, it's fucking actually boiling in here. So Anyway, all day Saturday, I was tweaking it, fucking about with it, saying, going up to is the bedroom warm and cold? Let me know, and I'll keep changing it so I can get it right. And then, because without boring me about high heating, if all of the heating's at the right temperature, but one of the bedrooms is colder than it should be, then basically you've got a boost button on your thermostat. So even if I'm at work and Tasha's got no control over the heat, if she's cold, she can press the boost button and it just puts the heating on across the whole of the house. If the radiator valves, if one of the bedrooms is cold, then what it does, it sends a signal back to the thermostat and says this room's below temperature, and the thermostat puts the boost on. But then the heat, because the other valves are shut because they're already at temperature. And what I noticed on Saturday was that sometimes this thing was working and other times it wasn't working. So on Sunday morning, I put a post up in the hive group and said, I've fitted the hive, I've fitted the hub, I've fitted the sender, I've fitted the stat. I've recently, in the last 48 hours, fitted 9 thermostatic valves. Sometimes the heat on demand is working, sometimes it's not working. So a bloke says to me, basically, when that room is calling for heat, it's sending a signal to the thermostat to boost the heating. If that thermostat is in an area of the house that's over 22 degrees, the boost feature don't work. So just be mindful that you need to keep the main thermostat somewhere that's normally colder than 22 degrees, and that way then your heat on demand will work on all these other radiators. Brilliant, thanks ever so much for letting me know. Then he said to me, one of the things that I've found is that, well, now you can say, Alexa, put Paul and Tasha's room to 21 degrees and it will change the thermostat.
That's cool.
Or you might...
I didn't find the device. Name call message.
Fuck off, Alexa. So, if... Look, I think I might even have to say Echo. I'll say Echo because otherwise this comes to wake up. Echo, ask Hive to turn Paul and Tasha's room to 23. But if I set up a routine in Alexa, I can type in what I'm going to say. And then I can also tell it what I want it to do when I say a certain thing. Shut up. So I could type in Paul and Tasha's room, and then I can turn on that stat, set it to 21 degrees for that voice command. I can say echo heat up, because I can switch every stat on in that setting. So I said to this bloke, if you like, the other thing is in my living room I've got 2 radiators, so I can't get it to turn on both radiators off one command through Hive, because each one of them's called something. I've got living room front, living room rear. But what I can do is if I set up a routine, I can just put living room 21 degrees, and then I can get it to switch on the front stat and the rear stat to 21 degrees. So on that voice command, it does both of them. So I was saying to this bloke, he basically says, I live in an open plan house, live like a studio sort of place, and I've got 3 radiators in an area that's quite big. But I'm having to say, Echo, turn on radiator 1 to 21. Echo, turn on radiator 2, turn on radiator 3. So I says to him, set up a routine that combines all 3 of them stats under one voice command. I said, if you can be arsed, you could even set them up and set it to 19 degrees, 20 degrees, 21. So you could literally say, echo heating 21 degrees, and it will turn all 3 on. Echo heating on, and it will put it on 30 degrees. Echo heating off, and it will turn all 3 off in one shot. And he said, oh, brilliant, I never thought of doing that. I'll do that. Sunday afternoon, someone commented to say, does anyone else find it shit that you can only set up 6 schedules in one 24-hour period? Now that's 6 times switching on and switching off. So like for my house, just for argument's sake, at midnight, the heating drops down to 14 degrees across the house. Then at 5 o'clock in the morning, because Emmy can wake up any time after 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, the heating comes back on. So that's one schedule for nearly half of the day. Then at 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock, when the kids are at school, the heating's on. At 8 o'clock, all the bedrooms go off, but the living room and the kitchen stay on. Then at 4 o'clock, when the kids are home from school, the bedrooms go back on. And at 9 o'clock, when they're in bed and asleep, they go back off again. So that's 4 commands. This bloke was saying 6 commands is not enough. And I literally commented on their saying, all I said was, why ever would 6 changes in one 24-hour period not be enough? Also, if you want to do more than 6, set up a routine, because that way you can set up unlimited routines and you can get it to achieve the same command you want it to do, whether that be through voice or through time.
Yeah.
And he literally, mate, he just went in on me. I swear to God, I literally put, I think I might have even put, why the fuck would you need more than 6 schedules? However, try using routines if 6 schedules is not enough. And he come at me like, who the fucking hell are you to tell me how many fucking schedules I should be using? Fucking rare going on. So I just typed, and I never seen it. I'm to work on Monday. I was just looking through my notifications on Facebook, seen this one for the whole group, so I clicked on it. This geezer fucking pairing me a new one. And I literally just put on there, are you okay, hon? He sent back a message about 2 minutes later saying, I'm not female and I'm not gay, so honey's inappropriate. And fucking rare. So I commented back saying, sorry, Simon, I just assumed your sexual orientation, so apologies about that. But you need to have a fucking stick in your cunts. I swear. And then he said something else like, you've obviously been on my profile, and he's like, you fucking thick brummy, fucking rare. And I said, listen here, you pedo-looking fucking prick. Don't get all fucking low with me because you look like you fucking knock about with Prince Andrew and Jimmy Savile, you fucking wrong cunt. I thought, the only thing you should worry about is making sure Operation UK kick off your front door, you can fucking dispose of your hard drive sharpish, fucking pedo. And you know what he sent back? Well, I've just screenshotted all of that, Paul, and it's going to my lawyers. He says, I replied back and says, you look like the sort of thing that's got your lawyer on speed dial to you fucking nonce. I said, I answered a fucking question on here. You've gone on all Johnny Concrete on me. I said, and then you're on about lawyers, you fucking prick. And it says, actually, the reason why I needed more than 6 schedules is because it's in my uncle's house and he's got Alzheimer's. And he keeps forgetting to turn the heating on and off. And I says, there's 2 things here, mate. Firstly, still, why does he need to have it on and off more than 6 times? And secondly, hopefully, he fucking forgets who you are, you fucking horrible cunt. The whole reason for that long story is that some people get way above their station on social media. Right?
That was fucking brilliant story.
I honestly think, like at the moment, Shanae's on Snapchat with her pals. She's on WhatsApp. She's on Instagram, and actually, she's never posted nothing on Instagram. So she hasn't got no pictures on her actual Instagram page. But social media bothers me. It bothers me because it genuinely, and I spoke about this at length a few weeks ago. It's broken people. It's given false hope. People live false lives on social media, and it bothers me. And the reason why people stab people is because they're spineless cunts. Right? There's no 2 ways about this. This isn't about people being hard. This is about people being wankers. Because if you were hard, you'd walk over and jaw someone, knock them spark out, and say, "Don't fucking speak to me like that again, you prick." These people are pulling out knives with their arseholes. They ain't got a fucking fight in them. They ain't got a punch in them, but they've bigged themselves up. Social media's bigged them up. They know a few fucking lads, so they try and make out they're on par with them. Broken, mate. Fucked them up. So that bothers me with my kids. And it's like Billy now. Billy's 17. Actually, his Facebook's half dead. And he says to me, I don't even use Facebook. He probably uses Facebook more now than ever because me and him are quite close, and I'm on Facebook, so I'll tag him in stuff and whatever. But generally, Billy's not active on Facebook because he said, "No, he said Facebook's for old people." What are you on about, you prick? I said to her about having a Facebook. Only old people go on Facebook.
In it. Right, we're coming to the end of the show, but I do have a question for you. And it's about a status that is below the status of the week. And it says, when you spot a mouse in the office and decide to spring clean his order 6 hours later, did you really find a mouse in your fucking office?
Right, so before Christmas, he was sat in my office and he went, whoa! He said, did you see that then? I said, no. He said, a mouse has just walked from under your desk and just walked out the door. And I was like, shut up, man. So I literally got onto pest control who do our offices and whatever. And I was like, seriously, get round here, catch these mice or I'm burning the fucking office down. They come out that same afternoon, put some traps down, put some poison down, whatever. And he says, what I'll do, I'll come in every couple of days, check the traps, rebait, and we'll get them fucked off. So then, before Christmas, we had a new CCTV system fitted around the inside and outside of the factory. And I was sat in my office, and I'm facing this way, and I'm on my computer, and then, you know, like that. The fuck was that, man? And I just feel like I seen something run down the edge of my office behind the filing cabinet. So I stood up and I ran over, kicked the fuck out the filing cabinet, waiting for it to come. I don't know what I was going to do if it come out, mate, because I don't like it.
Imagine you jumping.
It never come out or fuck all. So then the next month, like, since that day, every time I go into my office, I kick the fucking door before I even go into it. Then I open the door and then I stamp my way across the office till I get to my desk. So if they're in there, they fuck up, do you know what I mean? And then just before Christmas, not even before Christmas, mate, it was last week. They'd done some of the install before Christmas. They couldn't have finished the cameras last week. The geezers in my office setting all up the cameras to the DVR and fucking asking me, do you need this one adjusting? Shall I zoom in on this one? And then he went, fucking hell. And a fucking mouse ran across his foot. And I was like, fuck this, man. So I've got like a fridge in my office and I've got an air conditioning unit. And they're both at one corner. And I was thinking, you know what? I bet they've nested behind the fridge because the fucking pot's nice and warm. There's a nice cavity in there. That's the area he was running to. So today I thought, you know what? I'm just going to sort my office out. So I fucked the air conditioning unit off because it was broken anyway. Big pile of mouse shit all around the back of that. So I was fucking fixing everything for. But I didn't find none, and I cleaned all the office, sorted it all out. Now I'm good. Now I just need to get more catches into catching.
I honestly have in my mind you jumping on your fucking desk like that. Fuck this.
I remember back in the day when I was at the office at the other factory. I was in my office one night about 6:30 on my own, and I had a desk in front of me. And then on the side of my desk, I had like a computer table with my computer on and a pull-out drawer. So I'm spun round and my desk is running down this side of me and I'm sitting at the end of the desk here on my computer. And I was working away and I literally felt like someone was doing this. Staring at me. That was a big factory that was, and I was the only person in the whole of the factory, so it was a bit eerie and that, and you'd hear noises. And I'd be like, what the fuck's that, man? Fucking working away. And I'm like, some cunt staring at me, man. And I look down between my feet, mate. Fucking mouse just looking at me. And I swear, I screamed like a bitch. I kicked my fucking legs out, kicked my computer table completely over, jumped up on my desk, tucked my jeans into my socks. And then I'm on the fucking phone. The company that we used was called Pest Busters. I'm like, Dave, is that you? And he's like, yeah. He was like, I said, Paul from Arkansas. What's going on? Mate, my office is overrun with rats. Yeah. He was like, he says, what time are you there? Tom? I said, I'm staying there till you come here because I'm not even getting off my desk, mate. So fucking Dave Nash jumped in his van, comes over, set up some traps and that, escorted me out of my office so I could get to my car. And the next morning when I got in, there was a mouse on the trap, and it was about that big.
No,
the fucking thing was like a cat. fucking hate them.
You fucking caught Stuart Little. All he wanted to do was go home with you.
Right, you got 60 seconds and then I'm out of it. I'm leaving at bang start on 10.
Right, so status of the week is one you posted after that one, and the status is wearing a fake Moncler coat and rocking the chubbiest false nails money can buy doesn't make you classy by any stretch of imagination. You're a Chris Sandwich, end of. So to all you Chris Sandwiches out there, we your bookie fucking Moncler and your false nails, fuck off.
Monclers, mate, shocking.
I don't even want to know where that's inspired from. I don't even want to know where that's inspired from.
Have a look around my fucking breakfast, you can.
Right, we'll let you get off. We'll sign out. Thank you very much for everyone who joined us. Remember, like and subscribe. Make sure you share as well. We're out of here. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.